Diary of a Wimpy Kid is a 2010 film directed by Thor Freudenthal. This is written by Jackie Filgo, Jeff Filgo, Gabe Sachs, and Jeff Judah, based on the book by Jeff Kinney. And we have Zachary Gordon as Greg Heffley. We have Robert Capron as Rowley. And we also have Rachael Harris, Steve Zahn, Devon Bostick, Chloë Grace Moretz. And I had seen this before. It must have been a really long time ago because I'd never reviewed it. And I've been reviewing every film that I watch for about 4.5 years now. So it must be at least 5 years since I saw this. And I've also since then seen the animated film. And I thought, let's check it out again. I remembered enjoying it. And I'm pleased to say, watching it again, I did like it. I've never read the books, so I can't compare it to the book. If you have any thoughts on that, if you know if it's basically like for like or if anything is different, please feel free to share. But judging it purely as a film on its own, I liked it. The narrative works well, the characters are great, the performances are brilliant. It's about a preteen and 12-year-old boy called Greg Heffley, and it's about him navigating his way as he goes to middle school. And he is certainly aware that middle school is very different from elementary school, but his best friend Rowley isn't quite as aware of this fact. So Greg tries to change Rowley because he realises he can't just ditch Rowley. He is his best friend. So he decides instead he's going to try and subtly change Rowley without really telling Rowley what's going on. And there are some pretty interesting consequences. I won't spoil it by going into any specifics. But definitely we have some interesting things, and needless to say, things don't exactly go according to Greg's plans. And I think the narrative progresses really well. The pacing is great. There's a lot of variety in what happens. And I rather enjoyed it. It's a great story about the importance of friendship and what being a bad friend could look like. And also about what really matters. And I think they did a really great job with the narrative. As I said, I don't know how this compares to the books. I don't know if the narrative is identical to the stories in the books or if there are any differences. I'm pretty sure the cheese touch is in the book. That also made me feel sick. I remembered that very vividly from the first time watching the film. And I don't know, as I said, I don't know if it's identical or not, but I did like the narrative. I thought it worked really well. And I feel like this is something that everybody will go through at some point, or at least they'll have thoughts about this, because if you are in a friendship group, it's very unlikely, in my opinion, that you'll both mature at the same time. And it might happen, but chances are it's not going to. And what's more important, suddenly giving up everything you loved the summer before you moved up a year, or staying with your best friend? Or is there a compromise? Can you have both? I'm not going to say it, but the film, of course, does explore this, and I think it's definitely very relatable for pretty much anybody at some point in their life. Great performances. I thought the casting was fantastic. Again, based purely on the film. I haven't read the books. I don't know if the characters are portrayed in the same ways, but for the film, I think everything worked really well, and it's a really enjoyable film. There are a couple of others, and I will be watching them. Well, I'll at least be watching the next one, Rodrick Rules. I've seen the animated version of that, so I know roughly what happens, but I won't go into any detail about that now. For now, though, I will say Diary of a Wimpy Kid is a really good film, and I'm really looking forward to watching the next one.